In this video, let's talk about what are the problems with front loading instructions. So front loading instructions is that you try to install an app. Once you load the app, it is going to start with instructions. Do this, set up your account, and then you are going to able to use that app. So there are certain, and I would say a lot of problems with this blocking technique. So you are actually blocking your user behind a wall. So we are going to see what are the problems with that technique. So let's get started. So here you can see we have the first problem, which is predicting future. You are trying to predict the future that user is going to watch these slides or this video, which is not true. Second is that when the user sees those instructions or set of instructions, maybe 7 steps or whatever, he's going to be overwhelmed or she's going to be overwhelmed that maybe this product is difficult to use. So this is the thing, and that is going to come to their mind. Third is that it is hard to remember all those instructions. I have already told that user is going to perceive it that it is more difficult to use. Then the main thing is again out of context. User is coming from a background, we don't know whether he is in a hurry, he wants to book a cab or something like that, and you are trying to uh, sign up with him for like showing him or her a very long form. So this is not a good. So you haven't tried your product before, you haven't tried that product, and that product is asking for your personal details. This is a bit alarming situation for a user perspective. Next is focus on awareness, then follow through. So you are just making your user aware of the product. You are telling them that this is how this product works, or this is how it operates, or these are its features, but you are not following through. You are not seeing what the user wants or what they are trying to ask you, and then you follow through that. So the last is difficult to maintain and scale. So it is really difficult that you are making like a user onboarding video. Whenever your product changes, you have to change the video. So if you have new features added, you have to make more slides, make more images. So it is difficult to maintain and scale. So if you have like added 10 new features in your product, how you are going to onboard your user then? Are you going to make again 10 times the new video again and again? So these are the problems with front loading instruction set or front loading technique that is widely used in user onboarding. Now I'm going to quote here a very famous social scientist, Herbert A. Simon. What he said is, a wealth of information creates a poverty of attention. So if you have a lot of information, you are overwhelming your user with like 10 or 7 or 5 different steps or different screens of instructions. It is going to have problem with their attention. So users have limited span of attention. You have to use that, and you have to guide them rather than showing upfront 10 different steps to follow through. Now here is an interesting usability study done by Nielsen Norman Group. In 2020, they did a test on different users about how difficult the product is to use. So they found out that the users that were getting the tutorial upfront, they thought that the product is difficult to use. So if you are showing your users on your onboarding process upfront tutorial or videos or steps to follow, they are going to think that this is more difficult and they are going to skip that tutorial. Most of the time, I think 80-90% users, they actually press on the skip or close that video. Now the next problem is that is associated with this frontal instructional loading kind of user onboarding, which is unaided full immersion. So you are trying to um, throw your user into a full immersion of the product without any aid. So do not launch your newcomers or new users into full product experience without any aid or without any guidance. So what is going to happen? For example, you might have seen some games uh, that don't provide any tutorial. You have to figure out everything on your own. Maybe some game like I have played game like Lara Croft in the beginning, like 20 or 15 or 20 years ago, and it was so difficult for us to sometimes figure out few things or few actions. Now most of the games these days, they have a tutorial or a tutorial plan kind of gameplay in the start, so they actually teach you with and guide you during the first play of your game. So this is how you actually immerse your user rather than throwing them without any guidance. Second is that if you are going to do unaided full immersion or without any support that figure out on your own self, then you are going to exclude your audience. A lot of the audience, they are going to be very uh, beginners at the beginner level, or maybe they are newbies, they haven't used that kind of games or product. So you are actually limiting your audience. So only expert people, they are going to use your product or buy your product. All others are going to skip it, or they are not going to buy your product. So these are the problems. So don't launch your user without any aid. So maybe if you think that unaided instructions or the frontal instructions doesn't work, so let's remove those instructions and throw your user without any aid into the product, then it is going to be disastrous too. Now here is a case study of Plant versus Zombies 2, which is my favorite game. I played all the day, every day, almost every day. Now George Fan, he actually used this strategy in Plants vs Zombies 2, where he actually used the first level to familiarize the players with the whole interface and how this whole gameplay actually works before taking them to the complex levels. So now, user onboarding, if someone says that we didn't recognize that we were introduced to a gameplay level or it was a tutorial, then it is a compliment. For fan, you can see he says, for fan, it's a compliment if a player says that they didn't notice the game had a tutorial. So you can see the figure below, which is passive instructions, unsupported immersion. So we have to be in the middle. We have to develop a guided interaction rather than unsupported immersion that is on one side of the scale. The other side is passive instruction, that you just show some instructions and think and predict that users are going to follow those, which is not true. Most of the time users are going to skip that. So guided interaction, which is in the middle of both these concepts, is going to work or the best for user onboarding. So now in this lesson, we have studied three different techniques of user onboarding, which ones are failing, which ones are going to be the best. Guided interaction, unsupported immersion, then we have passive instructions. Most of the products I have used, they have passive instructions. So let me show you actually one example. I just trying to track one of my package from Russia. And you can see I went to this 17 track, which is a very popular website. You can see over here. So every time I'm hit, whenever I open this, I'm not sure what they have introduced, some new features or whatever. So you can see these are four icons. They are trying to explain that this actually does this actually does this. I think this is third or fourth time that I have actually pressed this, because I wanted to see and track my package rather than see their instructions. So this is kind of you can say very good example of what I actually don't want, what you actually don't want in your product. So you can see also these icons, they don't have any labels, although they have some these overlays that are showing that this is actually what this actually does. So very nice tool, but I think this is not the good way of showing those. Maybe they can highlight these and show uh, the titles, or maybe some what you can say, labels, maybe for 4 or 5 times in the start, and that is going to familiarize the user rather than showing a whole tutorial and clicking on different things. So what I did is, whenever my context is that I came here to search for my package, and you are showing me what are the new features you have added in your product, that is very, very irrelevant. So this is a simple example of what user context is and how you are going to show them the usage, because I already have used this app many times, and I don't want to see what new features they have added maybe later on, so don't show it upfront. Okay, so that is all in this lesson. I hope you have enjoyed and learned something new. We'll meet you in another lesson. Till then, take care. Bye bye.